Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Experts Game podcast. My name is Matt Russell, and today we are excited to have special guest with us, Brian Garrison. He's going to be telling us all about his business and what he can do to help those in the community. And we will be right back with Brian after this short introduction.
My name is Matt Russell, and I've been a business owner for the past 24 years, helping others get what they want out of life. I help people and businesses grow with the help of one-on-one coaching, social media assistance, and planning that will get them to that next level. But instead of working with you myself, I developed this podcast to share with you what others are actually doing. These people are your neighbors, your friends, could also be you. But do you consider yourself an expert? Do you know someone who is? Have you ever wondered what it takes to become that person? Well, today, in this episode of the Experts Game podcast, our guest will share with you the struggles, hardships, and successes they've experienced on their way to becoming an expert in their field. You don't want to miss it, so grab your notebook and pen, and we'll get started in just a moment.
Okay, welcome back. Brian, I'm happy to have you here today. Let me give a little brief introduction, then I'm going to let Brian kind of tell a little bit more about himself. But Brian's been an insurance agent for over 20 years, I believe. And he is also licensed in auto, health, home, and life, and is acting also as an insurance and financial services consultant. So I know I probably didn't give out all the information, but Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Thank you, Matt. Happy to be here today and share a little bit of insights and what I do and how I can help you. I started my company, which is On Point Insurance Consulting, about 3 years ago. As Matt was saying, I was in a local insurance office for about 20 years, serving as an agent. And right before COVID hit, I had to place both of my parents in nursing homes within 30 days of each other. So that took an enormous amount of my time and resources, and so getting them settled was a challenge on its own, and especially during COVID, it was an additional challenge because a lot of facilities and nursing homes were closing their doors during that time. So once I got them settled, I thought that might take 2 or 3 months, but it actually took the better part of a year. So once I got them settled, I knew I wanted to remain in insurance because that's what I love to do. So I started a platform where I could consult with individuals and business owners on an educational platform where I could provide consultations without selling insurance. And that's kind of a novel idea, to be in insurance without selling a particular product. But it served me well because it's really allowed me to be in some avenues and some niche markets where I can go in certain, for example, community colleges, and I can present, I can share different webinars because I don't sell during those forums. It's strictly an educational platform where I share some insights and resources during those type of webinars and live workshops.
Okay, well, fantastic. So what got you really interested in this? I know you said it was a little bit of it was maybe out of necessity, but was there something else maybe younger in life when you just thought you might want to be in the insurance industry?
No, I had to pivot. When I graduated from Appalachian State University in 1995, I started out in a management development program with Lowe's Hardware. At that time, they had what's called MDP, Management Development Program. So I started going through that, and after I was there for about 2.5 years going through that program, I was approached by an agency manager who really wanted to introduce me to the insurance industry. So really, I had never thought about it, but once I got into the industry, I really liked the sales component, and I liked meeting with clients. And I like more than anything, Matt. Here's what I really loved, and that was sitting down and teaching the teaching aspect of insurance, advising clients, advising a young couple that's just getting started what they need to be aware of, how they can plan for their future, and how insurance can be integrated to protect their assets going forward. So more than anything, I sat back a minute, and especially during that time that I was getting my mom and dad settled, I stepped back and realized I really enjoyed the teaching component of that. So that's where, part necessity, but also, hey, I can really operate in this space where I'm partnering with community colleges and the community and offering consultations in that forum.
Wow, that's awesome. As you know, I mean, we've communicated a little bit over the past few years. That's what I enjoy too. I mean, the teaching training aspect has been very fulfilling over the years for me, and I've been doing it 26 years now. Not on the insurance side, obviously, but with the startup business component in there. I know that my average workday seems to be getting maybe busier and busier as we go.
Yeah.
What would you say is your average work day right now, or do you have one?
No 2 days are ever the same. It kind of corny, I guess, but the very first thing when I get up is, well, first of all, let me back up. My wife and I have home offices here. Her office is right across the hall from mine. So sometimes it makes it a little challenging. And we have two dogs. So can make life interesting sometimes. But a lot of times she's on a call very early in the morning, sometimes around 7, because her company is based out of San Francisco. So a lot of her clients are in different time zones. So the first thing I do when I get up is make the bed. I want a sense of accomplishment, of doing something, even if I fail at everything else the rest of the day. I struggle. Maybe I have 2 or 3 meetings cancel. I'm not as sharp as I need to be. At least if I get up and I do something positive, I make my bed, and for the rest of the day, at least I've accomplished something to start the day with.
That's pretty awesome. I have made that a point recently as well, and I think I remember watching a video several years ago where there was this guy speaking at a college, and he was doing the graduation speech, and he said every morning you should start by making your bed. Something else that I've done over the years, I mean, this goes back probably, 30 years ago when I was working for somebody else. I made sure that at the end of the day, no matter how busy I was, no matter how crazy things got at the office, that my desk was always clean at the end of the day. And the reason for that is when I come in the next morning, I'm starting fresh. If I came into a lot of paperwork on my desk, if I came into a lot of issues, I would be depressed all day long. And I'm happy to say that 30 years later, I'm still doing that every single day. Now, I'm a little different with my wife is an entrepreneur too. So she's a baker. She's a professional baker, and she has an office at the house. But I've actually just recently left the house and rented an office 15 minutes down the street from me. So I will have to say that actually helps me a little bit, helps me focus a little bit more. And the same thing for her too. I mean, she's able to focus a little bit more. And then when I come home in the evenings and she's done with everything that she's done, then it just makes it a little easier, a little bit better. But I've
Wow,
tried to work in the house.
very important. And I keep uh, a an office, some space over at the hub here in Hickory.
Mhm.
because like you, I like the socialization of it as well. So not only away from your house, but you're mingling with other people there too. So
Yeah, a lot of benefits to that. Well, listen, let me ask you this question. It might be a little more difficult. If you had to start over today, maybe the insurance industry didn't didn't pan out. I mean, I know it's worked well for you in the years, but if you had to start over today, would you go back into something like this, or is there another interest that you might have?
I think I would it in this capacity. So it would be, let's say, a first cousin. It would
Hmm.
be I would be a coach in some capacity because I really view you as a coach.
Hmm.
You're a coach. What you do, you're in many aspects, you're a coach, and that's how I view myself and what I bring to the table uh, as well. Is I'm an insurance coach. So if I was an insurance coach, it would be some type of business oriented coach where I'm helping people uh, in a lot of the same ways that you do, but different. But my focus would be on how can we motivate you, keep employees engaged in the workforce and that kind of thing. So I I would be in the industry, put it that way.
Hmm. Yeah, I think there's so much that can be accomplished with good coaching. I attribute a lot back to when my son and daughter were younger, of coaching their sports teams. I've coached baseball and basketball and a little bit of soccer. Not very good at that, but um, basketball and baseball, there was just something about that. I mean, I grew up with my father as my coach,
Yeah,
so it just kind of passed on down, and truly enjoyed that aspect. Let's.
and uh, uh, oftentimes it's not the X's and the O's as a coach. Um, it's how you make people. People are going to forget a lot of things, the X's and the O's, but
Mhm,
people get how you made them feel.
absolutely.
So that's how the connection is, I think, and especially from a coaching perspective, if you get a good coach, it's invaluable. It's invaluable because that person can really have an impact on your life forever. Um, and again, how you impact others really is everything.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Tell me one thing that people don't know about you. Maybe an interest or a hobby or whatever.
When I have the opportunity, I do enjoy fly fishing.
Hmm.
Uh, it's very it's sometimes tough to find buddies to go with you. Lots of people fish, but more more people fish, in a lake, right? Catfish or bass. Um, but I really enjoy being out in the river. You know, there's something out, putting on my waders and going out there. And even if I don't catch anything, I just enjoy the sounds of the river, the water going over the rocks, um, the sights and the sounds when you're in that river. You know, the noise can be deafening sometimes in what we do in life. Whatever field a person is in, there's so much outside noise, okay, that we need to turn that down. And I found that when I go to, and I get in the river, all that noise is gone. All the noise I'm hearing is just water going over rocks. And it's very, so I love that part about it.
Gosh, that's fantastic. I definitely can appreciate that. Let's jump back over to the business aspect again. And I want to know a little bit about, if I were coming to you for a consultation, what would you work on with me? I mean, I know it varies based on different needs and different things, but the average person who would come to you, what would you work on with them?
Okay. Uh, it's important, I think, to find out what their, and this is true of an individual or business,
Hmm.
find out what an individual or an organization's pain is. What's their pain? Well, is it related to your premium? Is it related to service? Okay. Is, what's the issue? Most people are having an issue when they come to me related to their insurance. And the issue could be, hey, my rates are keep going up, or my agent or my adjuster will not call me back. Am I with the right company? What's going on here? So it could be advice related to, hey, let's look at your policy. And the word that we use is unbiased, because we're not selling any policy and we're not referring any particular agency. We can come in and with an unbiased approach, really look at their policies and see, again, what are they uninsured? Are they underinsured? Or are they overinsured? Are they really, are there drivers on the policy that needed to come off that should have been off a year ago? Is the boat that they sold last summer still on their policy? Right. So a lot of times, not only is someone coming from a premium perspective, want to save money, but we find all kinds of gaps. We find areas that they're uninsured. We find areas that they're underinsured, but we find areas that they're overinsured or overpaying, where drivers or vehicles that are on a policy need to be off. Maybe someone still has insurance points on their policy from an accident or a violation, and we look and we say, hey, I see this, you're being charged 3 points from on here. And they went, whoa, that happened 4.5 years ago. So it's uncovering those things as well. And we get a lot of satisfaction from finding those areas as well. So that's the first step was is to find out what kind of pain they're experiencing. Is it premium? Is it service? Is it accountability or transparency? A lot of people in this climate that we're in, it's hard to find good service. And I mean that in all walks. Okay. People who call you back when they say they're going to call you back. Right. I can't tell you the times where people will come to me and they'll say, I've left a message for my agent and he was out of town or she was out of town. And then the client calls back in week 2 and that agent just doesn't call back. Well, that's how you lose clients in a hurry. You got one of the key components that I stress is you must call clients back. And even if you don't, if you get a question from a client and you don't have the answer, call or email them and say, I haven't forgot about you, Matt. I'm going to find out the answer. Bear with me. Thank you for your patience. At least keep your clients clued in and in the loop, right? Let them know that you haven't forgot about them.
Yeah, I think that is just great customer service. And I think that that's probably what has allowed you to be as successful as you are, because of that customer service aspect. Some people don't care so much about price or, convenience is always
Right.
good, but if you can provide that good customer service, you'll definitely have the customers there. Brian, I appreciate it today. Thank you for everything. Thank you for kind of sharing a little bit of your story here. I'm gonna put in the links below the video how people can get in touch with you. I think I've got a link to your link tree, and if there's anything else that you want to share, please do so. But finally, I've got one final question. If you were to give advice to any brand new entrepreneur, maybe somebody who wants to go into a field very similar to yours, do you have any tips?
I do. And it's this. The follow-up email. The follow-up email is pivotal. The follow-up email is where your product or your service is won. In that follow-up email, when you're engaging a new prospective client, you need to be brief, and it needs to be clear. It needs to be clear to follow. You need, in that secondary email, you need to present the problem. Number one, what's the problem for that particular client or organization? Okay. Once you present that problem, how does your product or service, in my case, how does your service provide the best solution? Not a solution, not a good solution, the best solution. So number one, again, present in that email, present the problem. The first thing, present the problem. Number two, describe how your product or your service is the best solution. And then thirdly, a call to action. And so many people forget that. In the email, there needs to be a call to action. Okay. Make it easy on the person that you're addressing to reach you. Okay. Give a definitive call to action. At the end, make it easy. Put your, I know I use HubSpot. Put your calendar link right there. I can be reached right here and list your, copy and paste your calendar link. Make it easy for the person to schedule the consultation with you. So if you'll do those things, be brief, be concise, and lay out the problem. But number two, and most importantly, position your product or service as the best solution. And then three, call to action.
Fantastic. That was a great tip, and it's a great way for all of us to match that in with our customer service that you talked about, to make sure that we have raving fans as our customers. Brian, I appreciate it today. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, if you're interested in any of the Experts Game podcasts, make sure you visit our website and follow us here on YouTube, and make sure you definitely subscribe and like this video. I will talk to all of you guys soon. Stay tuned for next month, as we'll have another guest on, and I hope you're all having a great week. Thanks so much.